Yoda and Mace Windu, the premier members of the Jedi Order, and debatably, the two Jedi that match the power of the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker. Mace Windu, a Jedi capable of walking the line between the light and the dark side of the Force successfully, using the power of the darkness without ever succumbing to its temptation. And Yoda, a Jedi Master of 900 years old, the Grand Master of the Jedi Order, and widely renowned as the most powerful and wisest Jedi not only of his era, but potentially that ever lived. A statement that is true. Mace Windu and Yoda are two of the most powerful Jedi that have ever lived, their only rivals ever being the son of the Chosen One in Luke Skywalker, and potentially Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, one of these Jedi clearly stated that the other was more powerful, and admitted that they were not their equal in war, and today we will explain which one admitted that the other was more powerful and why. First though, let us discuss the extreme prowess and ability of each of these legendary Jedi. Having chosen the path of a Jedi Guardian, Mace Windu's training was mostly focused on mastering lightsaber combat, becoming an incredibly formidable and skilled warrior, and was eventually considered to be one of the greatest swordsmen ever produced by the Jedi Order. During the Clone Wars, Windu was considered to be the only one who could stand toe-to-toe with his former friend Dooku on neutral ground. A display of Mace Windu's outstanding prowess in lightsaber combat was how he could overwhelm General Grievous in single combat, a cyborg who had killed dozens of highly capable Jedi, as well as the fact that Windu overpowered Asajj Ventress in their first duel, though at the time he was going all out. Known for having full mastery of all of the 7 combat forms and every stance and technique of lightsaber combat, alongside Sora Bulk, Windu developed a deadly form of combat known as Vaapad, the 7th form of combat which competed with the Sith versions of Juya. Vaapad was named after a predator native of the moons of Separan, which was intentionally created to allow him and those he trusted with the form to channel the dark side within them, as well as when they dueled their enemy and to turn it against them. Mace Windu was the only Jedi to fully master Vaapad, with second being Jedi Master Quinlan Vos. However, Vos's prowess with the newly created lightsaber form was a shadow of the true potential of that of Windu. But this was only one aspect of the Jedi Master's immense power. The other, of course, being his aptitude and ability to use the Force itself, specifically using combative methods. Known to be one of the greatest Force users in the Jedi, Mace Windu's mastery and power in the Force was incredible. He was known for his resistance to the lures of the dark side, channeling his inner darkness into his attacks to help serve the light side of the Force. This allowed him to utilize some of the darkest powers known to either the Jedi or the Sith, without succumbing to his aggression, such as the terrible Force Crush. His mastery of the form he created, Vaapad, also provided a devotion to the light, as the only two other advanced users, Deepa Billaba and Sora Bulk, both fell to the dark side of the Force. Windu was known to be capable of pondering on matters of both the light and the dark side with clarity, and perhaps was only second to Jedi Master Yoda. Aiding Windu throughout his life was also his Shatterpoint ability, a power he always had a natural affinity for. This power allowed him to see weak points in opponents, vehicles, or even everyday life. This power also allowed a Jedi to shatter otherwise unbreakable objects by channeling the Force into the places the object that were bound together. Windu's Shatterpoint ability proved vital to his victory over Darth Sidious, but he had realized too late that the Shatterpoint he was detecting was Anakin Skywalker's, not Palpatine's. Mace Windu was an absolute juggernaut of the Jedi Order, being potentially the only Jedi to ever defeat Darth Sidious in single combat, and there was a massive debate among the Jedi Order who was more powerful, Mace Windu or Master Yoda, with Palpatine even siding on the time of Mace Windu for a period, which is also a main talking point of this video. But first, I wanted to break down and compare the powers between Windu and Yoda, and ultimately again, which one admitted that the other was more powerful. However, in Windu's favor, I do want to make it clear that for the majority of the Clone Wars, Palpatine actually suspected that Mace Windu was more powerful than Yoda was. Now that we've discussed the insane power of Mace Windu, let's talk about Yoda. Yoda was amazingly skilled in lightsaber combat, one of the greatest duelists in history, and was was widely acknowledged as being perhaps the greatest Jedi duelist and swordsman of his time, despite being trained as a Jedi consular, a variation of Jedi that do not typically draw their lightsabers. He was known to be the only Jedi who could best Mace Windu and Count Dooku in a duel. Although he did not often participate in direct combat, Yoda's impeccable swordsmanship remained as sharp as ever, even at 900 years old. In his duel with Dooku, who would become Darth Tyrannus and improved his skill even further, Yoda held the upper hand throughout the majority of the fight, and would have defeated him had Tyrannus not fled. Another testament to Yoda's immense dueling skill was that he was not only able to fight on equal footing with Darth Sidious, but he was also even able to defeat and disarm the Dark Lord, a feat that only Luke Skywalker and Mace Windu were ever able to replicate. Overall, Yoda's mastery of lightsaber combat marks him as perhaps the greatest duelist of his time. The only thing perhaps more impressive than Yoda's skill with the blade was his mastery of the Force. Yoda, as befitting a centuries-old Jedi Grand Master, was extraordinarily powerful and skilled in the Force, even rivaling Darth Sidious as his light side counterpart, and was irrefutably the greatest Force wielder of his time, among the Jedi at least. Yoda even eclipsed the power of Anakin Skywalker during the events of Revenge of the Sith, it still being clear that Yoda is the superior Force wielder. Yoda's midichlorian count was also the second highest recorded ever, just behind the Chosen One, Anakin. His strength and mastery of the Force was great enough that he could easily defend himself against and dominate other powerful masters of the Force themselves. I could make a 40-minute video talking about all the insane feats of Master Yoda, but we already know just how powerful and gifted the Grand Master was. But now, let's finally answer the question in today's video. Who was more powerful, Yoda or Mace Windu? According to Palpatine, for a lot of the Clone Wars, he actually feared that Mace Windu was in fact more powerful than Yoda in the act of war. Overall, he believed that Yoda was more powerful because of his influence over the Jedi and his centuries of experience. But when it came to war, Sidious actually feared Windu slightly more, until Mace Windu said this. "Duty calls," Palpatine said, moving to cut the comm channel. Then he paused. "Master Windu, since we are being frank with one another today, let me add that in these briefings, I wish to hear your own, unvarnished opinions, not to think what Master Yoda would have said. He is a great being, perhaps the greatest being in the entire Republic, but Master Yoda is a teacher at heart. You, Windu, are a warrior. Regrettably, this sad age of the world may be your time more than his." Windu paused and then responded, "Master Yoda is many things, and I am not his equal in peace, nor war." So there you have it, guys. Mace Windu admitted that Yoda is in fact the superior combatant in, again, peace and war. Something that I'm sure a lot of you suspected. Not to take anything away from Mace Windu at all, but again, simply according to himself, Yoda is more powerful, even if for a time Palpatine didn't believe so. But what are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on Mace Windu actually admitting that Yoda was more powerful? And who do you believe to be more inherently powerful in the Force? Is it the Master of Vapad or the Master of the Order? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. Your continued support and viewership means the world to me. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.